want to start out by congratulating the Spurs on a great series. They put up a hell of a fight tonight. They are obviously a championship organization, and they've been doing this for a long time. And they're a reflection of their coach. So we're still obviously thinking about Pop. Pop, if you're watching out there, we love you. Our whole thinking about you every day, and your team reflected who you are tonight. They battled every step of the way, and that was a big time fight, and we're lucky to get out of here. So congrats to the Spurs, and we are feeling very fortunate to move on, and we're excited for the next round.
Steve, you guys struggled with the three-point shot over the last 3 games, including tonight. How much of that was the Spurs' defense, and how much of that was you guys just not being able to find a rhythm from beyond the arc?
A little of each. I thought their defense was great. They're one of the best defenses in the league, second-ranked defense statistically. And so they're always a factor. They always seem to make the right rotation, the right read, and they get after you. So they had a lot to do with it. And then we had some open ones that we didn't knock down, but that happens.
Steve, lead's been whittled down to 2. You get in that possession, nothing's going on. The shot clock's went down. Did you want the timeout there? By the way, were you calling for the timeout? And then what was it just get some action to get it to Durant out of the timeout?
Yeah, I mean, it was our last timeout, and so I didn't want it. But once the play was dead and Draymond was stuck with the ball without a dribble, I thought it was a great timeout. And Kevin made a huge shot coming out of the timeout, and that was obviously a big sequence. And then I think we got a stop on the next play and kind of sealed it. So that was huge.
Draymond had 19 rebounds, more than twice as much as any of the Warriors. How much of a difference did his energy make for you guys tonight?
Oh, Draymond was tremendous tonight. Excuse me. I thought our defense was great all night long, and the game went as I had hoped. We took care of the ball, we moved the ball, and we defended like crazy. It was a rock-solid game. It's just in the last 4 minutes we just couldn't score, and so what was maybe a 12-point lead all of a sudden was 2, and we had a game on our hands. But other than the final few minutes being unable to score, I thought it was a great effort, and defensively was that's where we had to hang our hat in this series, and I thought we did that.
What did you learn about your center spot in this series, and what did you think you got from it?
Well, I thought JaVale had a great series. I thought he did a really nice job on LaMarcus. That's a tough matchup for anybody, but he bought us minutes. He hounded LaMarcus, gave him a different look, and then I thought David played his usual role. David is so consistent. We kind of know what he's going to do night in and night out. And Loon played a lot. Loon did a really nice job defensively on all those pick and rolls, getting out onto Mills and Ginobili and switching and rebounding the ball. So we had a solid performance from the centers in the series.
Steve, in the middle, what is playing the Spurs in back-to-back seasons in the playoffs and just going against them regularly? What has that taught your team over these last few years? Well,
I said before the series started that the Spurs always make you do the right things. You will be exposed if you're not attentive and boxing out and rotating and taking care of the ball. And so I think last year was totally different than this year. This year, our team struggled coming into the playoffs, so the Spurs helped us kind of get our game back in terms of forcing us to defend and pay attention to detail. And obviously, without Kawhi, their team is totally different. But their guys just fought like crazy and made us earn everything we got.
Steve, obviously it's very rare for Clay to have an off shooting night like he did the other night. But what did you see as far as his ability to get easier looks from himself as well as the team?
Yeah, I thought he moved really well without the ball tonight, and he got a couple back cuts for layups that were really important early in the game. The way they've been playing him the last couple of games, they've kind of overplayed him out on the perimeter, and I thought he just did a really good job of moving without the ball, and our guys found him, and jumper is more likely to go in, and I thought those layups kind of got him going in the first half.
Steve, I noticed after the game, you and Manu found each other, hugged, and he even rubbed your neck affectionately. What did you say to him, and what did he say to you? It sounded better before I said it.
It did, right? Too late. That's my guy. I mean, we were teammates in 2003, a long time ago, and it's amazing to see him out there continuing to play and play with so much joy and passion. And so I'm hoping that's not his last game. I just told him I hope he keeps playing because he's been just amazing for the league and so fun to watch night in and night out.
Coach, back here. Coach, you seem to find your defense in this series. It sputtered throughout the regular season, up and down. But how do you find that consistency going forward on the defensive end?
Well, we've got to continue to do the things that we did in this series. We played hard. We played really hard, and we played together and stayed with it, and we held them to 37% shooting tonight, which was great. Our defensive effort for the 5 games was fantastic. It's obviously going to get more difficult now as we go, so we got to just keep going and keep competing.
Hey, Steve, in the middle, any preliminary thoughts on the Pelicans, and especially based off of the series they just played?
Well, fortunately, Alvin Gentry doesn't really know what he's doing, so that's a joke. That's a joke. Really happy for Alvin. It was fun watching them play. It's not going to be as much fun playing against them because they present a lot of problems. But Alvin's done an amazing job with the group. They've come together. They're playing at a really high level. And obviously, it's a very different team from the Spurs. They present a lot of different issues. So we'll give the players tomorrow off, and the coaches will get in the war room and get to work.
Steve, how different were they? You saw them early when they had DeMarcus, and you saw them very, very late. How different were the Pelicans early to late after they lost DeMarcus?
Yeah, very different team. I mean, obviously Mirotic has added to their scoring punch and their spacing, and Rondo and Drew Holiday have had a great playoff run so far, and Davis is Davis. So they got a lot of threats. They spread you out. They make it very difficult to cover the whole floor. So we'll have our hands full.
Steve, Pelicans aside, what do you want your team to focus on internally over these next few days entering the next round?
Just the basics, you got to defend, rebound, and take care of the ball. I know it's a cliche, but it's the truth. That's what wins in the playoffs. And guys have to step up and make shots and all that stuff. But what you can control is critical, and that means not skipping any steps, boxing out, making the rotations, knowing the game plan, and just competing like crazy.
Steve, just given the unique challenges that New Orleans presents with their front court, what's kind of your initial thoughts on the center spot, and what's kind of key in matching up with that?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a couple of days. Honestly, I haven't given them much thought. We've been busy with the Spurs, and I did watch New Orleans. I watched a couple of their games against Portland, and so we have some general idea of what we're facing with the floor spacing and all that. But as I said, the staff will meet tomorrow, and we'll kind of get our game plan together.
Great,
Thank you.
Marcus Aldridge,